Hi, I'm Karish Maharaj. I am the Marketing and Communications Manager for Ontario Volleyball. And today we'll be interviewing some members from our OVA membership, including parents, coaches, and athletes, to get their views beyond what we hear in the surveys about their thoughts around the Ontario Championships and about indoor volleyball in general. How we're going to do that is playing a little game called Circle, Square, Triangle, where each member picks a card and they're able to answer some questions that are behind the card. All right, Sarah, Jessie, thank you for agreeing to do this. We're going to play this little game to get your feedback about your coaching experience. It's called Circle, Square, Triangle. And I'm just going to go one at a time.
Okay.
All right? But if one of you is answering and the other one feels to jump in, it's a conversation. So let's have a conversation, okay?
Perfect.
Sarah, I'm going to go with you first.
Awesome.
Grab a card and read out loud
All right.
what's there.
We'll go square.
Yeah.
Okay, 4 things that you enjoyed at OCs or your regular season.
Okay, you tell me.
Oh, question for me. Okay.
Yeah.
4 things. I think the number one thing that I really enjoy about OCs is like the sense of community. It's really cool to see all the athletes and all the other coaches and just so many people that are incredibly passionate about volleyball.
Mm-hmm.
I think second thing would probably be the talent that is out there. I think reflecting back on my playing career and like now being able to be a coach, I think we've seen the game grow a lot. That's a really, really cool thing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll pass off to Jessie for the next 2.
Sure.
I would say probably a third thing is just the ability, like all the different playing levels that you guys tailor to, and I think it really shows how we're more volleyball for life, having all the divisions and allowing people to like win their wins and get a gold medal for the division that they're in, and it really shows. I think that's a big part of why we were able to grow the game.
Mm-hmm.
Fourth thing, I don't know. I just love being here. I love this time of year. I think it's like Sarah said, we both were able to play here as well. So just being able to come back as a coach and really recognize how special a time of year this is and how much work you guys put into this event. Like, I think it makes it the most enjoyable time of the year.
Awesome. That's great to hear. A lot of people say they're happy coming back. You can just drop that right there. So.
Nice.
All right, Jess, all yours. Pick one. This is a hard one.
Oh, this is the one I didn't want to pick. Okay, one question I still have about volleyball or the OVA. This is tough for me.
You know
I
what?
worked here.
Why don't you volley that over to Sarah?
Volley,
You're gonna
over.
volley it over to me. One question I still have about volleyball or the OVA.
Yeah.
Um.
And you can take your time to think about it. Just don't go past 10 minutes.
Okay. I think, like for me, I think maybe not having worked at the OVA, just like I'm curious about like the, I guess, tactics that you guys are employing to like help grow the game, how you're reaching other athletes across the province, and like particularly like how we're tailoring the game to be a little bit more like inclusive.
Got it. I might answer some of that for you now. So the first one in terms of tactic is that while we kind of have like our pathway for athlete development, which includes like the grassroots type of thing, we've really changed our focus from doing our like spikes and smash programming in a mass scale to get clubs out, but rather empowering clubs to do whatever version of grassroots they like, as long as they meet these minimum standards. So that's one. The second thing we're doing is actually just trying to make the sport a lot more marketable and inclusive for everyone. So this is like beyond the policy stuff. Like, you know, we've had instances in this past year, for example, with news media asking us about our diversity policies, about trans right, trans inclusion, about pretty much anything that had to do with inclusion. I personally have had people even call my house from the media about it that I did not enjoy. But we kind of stand by what our policy is, which is remove as much barriers as possible to be inclusive. All right? And inclusion is not about gender inclusion or race inclusion. This kind of also includes trying for us to evolve our model to have economic inclusion as well, geographical inclusion, because we still think, you know, yeah, you grow the game in communities, but there's some far north communities that have different ways to grow the game than us. There's still indigenous communities that have different ways to grow than us. And then finally, we're kind of looking outside of what our membership currently does to recognize the organizations that are contributing to the sport beyond what's in our pathway and what's within our jurisdiction, if you want to call it that, which is basically the youth sport club model part. You know, I'm talking about community-based organizations that are cultural-based, that may be gender-based, that may be whatever version of it that they want, like Nine Man, for example, right? That's non-traditional in what we do. So that's kind of what we've been doing. The last part to this is stuff that we've not been doing, which has actually been on the back of our clubs. And I would say that's majority of where the impact has been. So you guys probably don't know this yet, but like we plan every year to have a 2 to 3% growth in participation in athletes specifically. This year we had 21%. So whatever the clubs are doing and whatever we're doing seems to be translating to the numbers. We kind of just want to encourage people to do more of that, to be honest. Yeah, so that's kind of the answer we have for you. There's some other stuff that I wouldn't want to mention on camera yet, because we kind of want to leave it up to surprise. But we can talk off camera.
Sounds good.
Sounds good?
Sounds good.
All right, Jessie, then you get
I'm
the
scared.
final triangle.
Okay, 3 things that were difficult or new during OCs or your regular season. A couple things that I think like maybe pertain to our team a little bit more, but that we might have found difficult, but also good. I understand why you do them. Is I think our team, the scoring. So you piloted from 16U onwards. The girls scoring and lining games. I think it's like really cool for them to like learn that and know that, but it also made it tricky kind of throughout the day to find times to like have food and like take breaks and actually take a break from the gym. So I think it's a cool idea, but I think it was hard for the girls to adjust to a little bit. Also for us, just like the ability to go up and down. So we had like 2 of our first tournaments of the year, and we were in select, and those are the only 2 that would give us the ability to move up to premier.
Got it.
And I think for us, like, if we had like 1 more tournament to do it, which we did, we would have been able to get up, but it was we were in a tricky situation that we were only able to use that one or 2 tournaments to get up to the next level. Otherwise we were stuck because of the Grand Prix and because of a couple other things. A third. I'm not sure. I love the way you guys run OCs, and I like the way that you have the ability to fight up and down, so I don't really find any like difficulty here with that. Do you have a third one?
One thing I might add is the early signing period. I know that was kind of new for us as coaches, and trying to navigate that like timing wise and like selecting our team. I think there was a bit of a time pressure there. That was a little bit of a challenge, especially for us, like being new to the Halton Club.
Right.
So that was the last thing that comes to mind.
Yeah, I think just to add on that, like the time of year that it gave a lot of the girls stress during like a time when they were having like exams at school and like other things like that. So for us, like all the stress that was in that period, we had a lot of girls like very anxious and very like stressed out about what we were going to decide on when they probably should have been focusing on
their school
and other things that were in life too, right?
Excellent feedback.
Yeah.
Excellent feedback. That's it. I just have to ask you this openly, like, is there anything else that you guys probably want to share? Any other concerns, off the top of your head?
I don't think so. I think like I said, like this time of year is one of my favorites. Like I miss being here every weekend with you guys, and I think that I know how hard all of you guys are working, and we really appreciate the work that you put into this tournament, and then the whole year as well. I think the things that we listed are really the only things that were kind of difficult for us. I see why they happen, and I see the reason that they're there, but other than that.
Yeah, I think OCs are great. Like I've been run really, really well. I think the one piece of feedback that we might hear from like our parents even is like some of like the travel this season. I know we're based out of Halton, and we were in Kingston twice and then London once. So I think the commuting was a little bit longer this year for some of the tournaments than it has been in the past. So that's probably the only other piece of feedback I'd give.
This year has been, like, because we did not expect that growth.
Yeah,
it's been difficult to
absolutely.
find hosts and gyms, and that's been, like, the people we interviewed right before you guys had the same concern. They're like, it was a much broader geographical range than they were accustomed to, and they talked about like the time frame of, you know, getting stuff out, but again, like, you know, we're relying on clubs in their gyms and what they do, so kind of really happy that people stepped up to the plate to do it in the first
Absolutely.
place. But, you
Yeah.
know, we'll see what next year brings, and see if any of that stuff is a little more flexible or not, right? So yeah, that's about it.
Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome.
Appreciate you guys.
I didn't prep it for you because I only saw you guys walking right past the door when we were finishing up another interview, but I got a bag of swag for you guys too.
Oh.
Alright, so just come check me up there after the game. I'll put it aside for you in 206.
Cool. You're the best.
Good
Thanks,
luck with the
guys.
game.
Thanks, guys.